Green all the way in 6A.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming to episode 3 of Green All the Way in 6A. Today's project is going to be quite, I don't know about complicated, but it's quite, it's a little bit daring, I think. When I moved in here, there was brick wallpaper on the wall, and I said, oh my gosh, I should get brick veneers. And I started pricing them, and I was like, wait a minute, why don't I make the brick veneers? So what I've done is I've taken my wall here, and as you can see, the rest of the room is blue, but I left some of this space blue because of this outlet. I want there to be a hole in the brick wall that I'm going to make. So I've left some of these spaces blue because they're going to have, it's going to be as if you're looking through the brick wall. So what I've done is I've taken cardboard, and I want to put a cardboard base on the wall so that I have something to glue all my brick veneers onto. And I've simply taken some old boxes, again, the kind of boxes that I got at work. These are actually the same boxes that I used to make the table in episode 1. It's just that now I'm opening them and I'm going to tack them onto the wall. You can see that I already started. And you know, this does not have to be perfect, because what I'm going to do is any space that is left over, I'm just going to tape over it so that no glue. I'm literally going to tack the cardboard up, as you can see I've started to do. And you can also see here that I left some of it untacked because this is where the brick is going to be coming through, and I'm not quite sure yet how far up I need to go. So I've just kind of left this hanging, but I can tack it in when I need to. Like that. So eventually this entire wall will be covered with cardboard. So here I am, I'm just taking my handy dandy tape, and I want to cover all the holes that my boxes naturally have, because when I start gluing the veneers on, I just don't want any glue to be wasted by falling into the hole. Plus I also just don't want it on my wall in case I need to take this down sometime in the future, who knows. And that's all I'm doing right here, brick veneers that I've made. I have very anal retentively cut pieces of cardboard that are the size of standard bricks, which is 7 5/8 inch by 2 1/4 inch. And incidentally, the depth would be 3 5/8, and I will have to do that when I go around my corner, as I'll show you later. But anyway, I have these veneers for now, and I have made them double ply. However, I've decided, as I've been thinking about this, that some of the pieces are going to be 3-ply and some of them are even going to be 4-ply, because I want them to have all sorts of different depths over the whole wall, because eventually I want to have an ivy growing on this wall and I want it to have something to cling to. Hi, okay, brick wall. As you can see, it's a lot of work. And I've done a lot. I'm in different phases in different parts of the wall, but I want to show you the steps. So what I've done next is taken pages from a phone book. We all have them lying around. None of us are probably even using them anymore. But this is great because it's thin enough to work with, but it's thick enough to hold the paint that I'm using. So this is great. And what we do is we take our Mod Podge, handy dandy, use it in every project, Mod Podge. And what I do is I take just a little bit and I coat the top of my brick. Now as you can see, I put little pieces of paper on as my second tier, just because I wanted each brick to have its own little story. I didn't want them all to be flat. And you can see this one here is a little thicker, a little wider. I wanted them to be the same size, but I didn't want them to be the same texture. And hopefully you can see that in here, the different shapes that are happening. So we take our brick, we put it down on the paper, center it, and kind of just let it go. Let that be what it is. And once we've done that, we have a whole bunch of these. Okay, this is my brick after it's dried. And what I do is this. I fold the long ends, I fold the other long ends, and let me get my other glue. This is where I switch to wood glue, just because it seems to work better. Okay. I put a few dots of wood glue on the ends. This is a little tricky, but it's kind of like wrapping a present. You take your ends and you kind of just fold it over and stick it in the glue. You want to try to get as nice and neat of an end as you can, because once this goes on the wall, we really don't want to be able to tell that it's paper. Do it on the other end, like so. Fold it. Now the great thing about this is that you don't need a lot of glue because you're gluing the actual paper. So I put a few lines here, a couple dots on the ends, go to my wall, and very carefully, very precisely set this next brick in place. Now let me tell you something. Hopefully I can save you a lot of hours of frustration for any of you who are brave enough to try this project. Be really, really careful about lining up your bricks. It's very easy to go crooked, and I'm going to insert a photo right here showing you what happened when I was coming from this direction and trying to meet down in this direction. I had a huge gap here and I had to tear a whole bunch off. Fortunately, this is not very hard to fix if you have this problem, because honestly they tear right off and then you can just recover them. But save yourself some hassle. Really keep checking. I find that looking like this down the wall is very helpful. You can really see if you're in a straight line. And if you want to be really, really precise, you can actually do measurements and line it up. But I didn't really want to be that precise because I like the idea of this being not so perfect. That's why I have the different heights that the bricks are coming out. That's why I have the different, textures underneath. I just wanted them all to be different. So one thing though, just really be careful lining them up. The next thing I want to show you, if you could come over here, you can see that if you're going to do a corner, you want to have the corner veneer that's going to give that illusion that, oh, this is an entire brick. So I'm going to show you how to do that.
Green all the way in 6A.